Okay, so I'm here with David Allen, famous time management guru, time management genius of the 21st century, author of 3 books, Getting Things Done, and the other ones with very long titles, I'm sorry. And I'd have to point out that David was perfectly on time. Is there a part of the methodology that says, okay, if an executive wants the whole team to use it, is there a practice that's used by the whole team, or is it just for each individual in the team?
Well, if you hold the team to these kind of standards, and it's also true that the same principles that apply to the personal productivity apply to team and organizational productivity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, about the zeros and ones here, it comes down to what's the outcome you're after, and what's the action step or the allocation of resources to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a team can come up. What does a team want to produce as an output, and then say, okay, well, then what are the moving parts and who's got them?
Mm-hmm.
For team, well, let's put it this way: can you teach an organization to read?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, you can't.
No, right.
But do you need literate people in the organization to function productively? Yes, you do.
Right.
So, the organization can offer classes for people to learn to read and learn to read better,
mm-hmm.
which will then up-level the organization. So that's analogous to, to what degree does GTD affect organizations? Well, it's really all about individual behaviors. However, the principles can be applied by the individuals within those teams to then, then it does improve business results and team output.
Mm-hmm.
When you do that, I mean, come on, one of the biggest lacks is for teams to do weekly reviews as a team, to sit down together and say, hey guys, what's going on out here? What are the current projects? What's changed?
Mm-hmm.
What do we need to move to a someday maybe? Because it's sucking energy out of mission critical stuff. What's new that's morphed into now a project, and who's going to handle that? I mean, these are just good business decisions you need to make, but it's really the essential kind of behaviors for GTD.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, the individuals walk out of that meeting and have to then handle themselves in terms of what did they commit to, what did they get. So teams will often get down to the project level or some sort of an outcome level, but then the individuals have to be accountable for the action steps that have to be taken.
Right.
So you need to identify who's got that.
Right.
Somebody, whoever owns whatever the output is, better keep track of it.
Right.
If they want to get it off their mind.
Okay. One of my favorite aspects of GDT is that the idea that you think of everything once. Right. I think that's the way you put it. Right.
Yeah, but silly to have a thought twice unless you like the thought.
I'm sorry.
It's silly to have a thought twice unless you like the thought.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with thinking about stuff you like to think about.
Exactly.
What the heck? But I need cat food should pop into your head once. If it pops in twice, you're inappropriately engaged with your cat.
Okay. So, and I like the idea that so you should be focusing on the current action, right? If you trust your system, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm saying what I've heard you say. I'm just trying to prompt you on that.
Well, if you haven't got it down to the next action yet on whatever your commitment is, you haven't finished your thinking. If you got a problem with or you got an issue with elder care with one of your parents, and you haven't got the next action figured out on that yet, and you need to be doing something about it, you're sitting there in procrastination, and you feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
To get that off your mind, you better decide what's the very next physical thing that needs to happen to start to move this thing toward whatever the closure is. So again, we're back to the zeros and ones. Basically, the way you get things done is you need to define what done means and what doing looks like and where it happens.
Right.
And most people have not actually done that.
Mm-hmm.
The vast majority of people, and I'm talking the smartest, best, brightest, and most sophisticated people on the planet, which I've spent thousands of hours desk side working with, still need to add that rigor into how they're thinking about the stuff that's got their attention.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, you get to mark this off as complete when what's true? What's the project here? What is your commitment to finalize here? And that's in our broad definition is a project, and most people have 30 to 100 of those if you include all their personal as well as their work stuff.
Right.
And then what's the very next action you need to take about that? And that's the next action idea, which is such a powerful idea. It sounds so simple, and it is. It's the most mundane thing, but it's the what I referred to in my second book. I wrote an essay called "The Magic of the Mundane." When you really get down and nail that one, it's amazing. How much ground that then provides to be doing much more sophisticated, higher level thinking.